Hi everyone, Lee Pacchia here, and you're watching The Business of Law, the only web TV show focusing on the challenges and the opportunities facing the legal profession. We have Jim Carr in studio today. He's the chair at law firm Kelley Drye. We're thrilled to have him in studio. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So how was the firm's 2014, now that we have it in the books?
The firm's 2014, Lee, was much better than 2013. We had a significant increase in revenues and profitability. But that's not saying much because 2013 was just a horrible year. Yeah. And so we don't like to compare 2014 to 2013.
Where does the improvement come from?
The improvement came from a couple of different areas, but primarily in the real estate area and structured finance. Practice group did very well, and bankruptcy continues to do well.
We'll get to that later in a moment, but we're not hearing that often from anyone running a firm that has a bankruptcy group. You got off of an extended listening tour. You came into the chair role January 1st of this year, I believe. What did your colleagues have to tell you?
Well, it was a listening tour primarily, wasn't of partners. It was a listening tour of all staff members, associates, and special counsel. And we wanted to, me and the managing partner who I selected, Lou Rose, we wanted to go out and meet everyone at all the offices. And we wanted to explain to them our background so they have a better idea of who we are and what our management style is. And then we wanted to talk to them about issues with respect to they were having in their particular offices, if any. But it was primarily a listening tour more about who we were and our management style and how we would be in further touch with them in the future to get more ideas, thoughts, and suggestions on how we can better run Kelley Drye.
Yeah, so you're coming into a control position of a firm that's been around for a long time.
What are some of 180 years.
Right, that's a long time for a firm to be around. What are some of the nearer term goals? Where do you want to be in 2 years?
Well, near-term goals, before I get to the goals, first and foremost, what's most important to me, I've been at this firm for 30 years. And I've been at this firm for 30 years for one primary reason: I like the culture. So I want to maintain the culture. The culture of the firm is very important to me.
What's the culture at Kelley Drye?
The culture of Kelley Drye is, first of all, we never want to become what I'll call a mega franchise law firm. The size we're at now is pretty good size, 300, maybe 400 attorneys. Will grow a little bit, but that's a good size. But it's a culture of caring. It's a culture of partners putting the firm's interests ahead of their own selfish interests. It's a culture of inclusion and diversity, and it's a culture of teamwork. And through that culture, it's a much better environment to work, and then we can provide better service, I believe, to clients because of that culture. And I'll give you an example. If we get a new matter in, what we do then is we figure out the best team for that matter, and we don't focus on just who brought the matter in, but who really is the best team. And we go across practice groups, we go across offices to find the right substantive area and the right experience. And so we don't have partners that complain that if I'm working on this, I want part of the billing credit. It's more about putting the team ahead of individual interests.
So it doesn't sound like you're drawing up plans for international expansion. You're not going to jump into the ring and get a firm in Africa or East Asia.
We're going to focus on our strengths, and that's here in the United States. But we are going to grow. There's no question about that. So vision going forward is strategic growth. We have 6 national offices, and we want to grow in those offices. We want to grow in Connecticut, we want to grow in our Chicago office, and we want to grow in our Los Angeles office. Our New Jersey office is a perfect example. It's about 30, 35 attorneys, and it has a core group of good attorneys that allows us, in essence, to offset overhead. So that's the size we want to get to, at a minimum, in each of those other offices that I mentioned about. And it's about strategic, smart growth. So what I mean by that is we're looking for practice groups or individuals that fit in and have synergies with the practice groups that we currently have. One example is recently we just brought in a government contracts group in our DC office, 5 partners and senior advisors. And that department now has grown substantially from what it was, which had 1 attorney. That fits in nicely with our governmental relations practice group. There's a lot of synergies there and they work well together. In addition, now we can sell additional service to our clients, any of our clients that conduct business with the government. So that's the type of growth that we're looking for, where we have synergies with our current and existing practice groups as opposed to having different silos. Because if you have different silos, again, it goes back to it's hard then to have teamwork.
You mentioned before that last year was a good one for the bankruptcy group at Kelley Drye. That's a practice area that has just gotten destroyed across the AmLaw 200 for a long time, almost like 10 years now. How did your bankruptcy corporate restructuring team do well in 2014, and what do you think is going to happen to the practice area going forward for the rest of the AmLaw 200?
Well, as you know, bankruptcy is slowing down. Business bankruptcies have slowed down. They continue to slow down. There's no question about it. In fact, I just saw a report
We're
this
bouncing
morning.
along historic lows here.
No question. And the primary reason for that is the federal government has to allow interest rates to go where they normally would go, as opposed to being artificially held low. And I think once you see that happening, you'll see bankruptcy picking up again, because you'll have a number of companies now that just sort of mask their problems by refinancing. How do we remain busy? We have a core group of clients that we've had for a number of years. We are a creditor-oriented practice. We have the marquee creditor-oriented practice in the United States. So we have a core group of clients that uses us no matter where the bankruptcy is pending, whether it's in Delaware, New York, or in Mississippi. In addition to that, we have a creditors committee practice. So right now, for example, we were just retained as creditors committee counsel in the GT Advanced Technologies bankruptcy case, which is pending in New Hampshire. It's a $1 billion action. We're also representing an indentured trustee in the Caesars bankruptcy case. Again, it's a $1 billion transaction on the bond debt. So our core group of clients keep us busy even when the market slows down. And we haven't, knock on wood, I'll find.
Don't have any in the studio.
I'll find some, but we've been very busy even in during the slow times, and it's also because we're very well known in certain industries: retail, financial services, oil and gas, and chemical. Some of the industries that we're just very well known, and we've done a very good job of maintaining our client base.
And just to be clear, you grew that group in 2014. I mean, it's a surprising story to hear.
We maintained the size of the group,
Which is winning in this environment.
There's no question. And actually, we're hiring. We've been in the process now of hiring because we're busy. But again, we're looking for the right attorneys that fit in with our culture. And also, you know, I like attorneys that have an entrepreneurial spirit, that like to go out and develop business.
It's a big part of the business. While you're here, I want to get your thoughts on the diversity question. It's been a running theme basically since we started this program. The diversity numbers for Big Law as of late have been atrocious in my view. 2% of partners in Big Law are African American. You come from a unique background for running a large law firm. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience and how that's going to go into hopefully fixing the problem that's in front of us?
Well, I agree with you. It's horrible. There's no question about it. And inclusion and diversity is very important to me. No question. In fact, at Kelley Drye, I think we can do better in terms of African American partners. Right now, we have 3. When I was
Out of how many attorneys?
Partners at about 100. When I was the chair of the bankruptcy department, it was my pleasure to promote the first African American partner to the firm. And unfortunately, he left to go to another firm a couple of years ago. But in terms of my bankruptcy world, when I was running the bankruptcy department, I was very much cognizant of trying to grow the diversity of the group. And now as chair of the firm, I'll continue to do the same in that role.
Jim, thank you for stopping by today.
That's it? Thank you.
That's Jim Carr, chair of law firm Kelley Drye. If you'd like to see more of the stuff we're working on, be sure to go check us out online. You can find us at mimesiswebtv.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thanks for watching.